Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another session with the older man. And guess, today, my friends, I got something special for you all. I have my good friend of mine, Mr. Max Gerstein. He is a professional financial advisor, and I want to address issues today dealing with making money, financial advice in your later years.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. With the older man, he's got the wisdom, honey. Remember, whenever you're in doubt, always ask an older man, he'll show you the right route.
Yeah, and just common mistakes people make, not doing the right things early on. Pretty much, yeah, just trying to set people up on the right path, to be honest, Paul.
Introduce yourself, brother. Let us know a little bit about you. Let us feel that we can actually take good financial advice from you.
Well, look, it is a trust game, right? But,
exactly.
So look, as Paul very, very warmly introduced me, my name is Max. I've been working in the financial advice space for over 6 years on a international basis, all throughout Europe, Middle East, Asia as well. Now, from my position in the company, I look after the existing legacy clients across the business. So clients who've been with us for 20 years, clients who've been with us for only a few months. And I see the same things happening throughout with everyone I meet, which is small fundamental mistakes that they started early, midlife, late life, which has caused them to really panic in their later years.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fix that.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, awesome, because part of my channel, helping people anywhere in the areas of making money, getting fit, and getting a happy, healthy relationship. So that's what I call the triad. Right? Because those are the things that keeps us happy, keeps us fulfilled in life. There's no sense having a relationship and you're broke. Yeah. There is no sense having a good relationship broke and you're out of shape and you're struggling with health. So that's why I like to approach this from these three different perspectives. But most of us, especially in the Western Hemisphere, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck, my friend. And that's what I'm trying to help people deal with.
I'm not even going to pretty this up. Some of us need to have some serious conversations with our parents, which will uncover some dirty truths. Not those sort of truths where you realize that your uncle's really your dad. No. You're going to realize that some of our parents are still renting at the age of 65. I'm 40 and I don't own a residential property. I own commercial ones, but I don't own a residential property. The age of retirement in the UK is 65. The average person in the UK dies at 85. The average pension pot in the UK is 200 grand. Okay, so that's 20 years of retirement. 200 grand divided by 20 years is £10,000 a year. Roughly, that's about £830 a month. If your parents are still renting in retirement, what money are they going to have?
This is just a common way that most of us are existing. A lot of our viewers are UK. You're from the UK, yeah?
Yeah, from the UK.
Okay. But first, guys, subscribe, please. Hey, hit the like button. You're going to be getting a lot of good information today. Hopefully, I can help some of you guys move from... We're not promising great wealth, are we?
No, but it's more light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, so many people, and you've probably spoken to a lot of people as well, who probably think that I'm stuck in this rut. There's just no way for me to get out.
Right.
How do I do it?
Yeah.
My job is to show, you know what? Everyone can find that little light. It may not make you a millionaire, but it will take you from where you are now to 2 levels above just by doing small things. And hopefully that's what people will learn to.
I think that a lot of us sort of give up as we reach over 40.
Yes.
40, 50, they think, oh shit, Ben, I haven't saved enough. I'm depressed. I can't see any way out of this. I find that a lot of people get into that.
I'm not earning enough. That's one thing. I'm not earning enough as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, they're earning enough.
Yeah, most people are. It's just that the little things that they should do. Actually, you know what? I'm not giving advice today. I'm going to leave it up to this man. But I want to play this one video, Max. You haven't seen this yet, but
okay, I'm ready.
This is it. All right. I like to show real world examples of people. But this gentleman here.
So waking up broke at 50 is not a nice feeling. It's embarrassing, It's embarrassing. And there's a lot of shame attached to that as well. But, for a lot of us, myself included, this is the reality. I remember reading a book years ago by an author called Jim Rohn. He's like a self-development, personal development speaker, and it was in a book. I can't remember the name of the book now. And there's a line it's saying, you wake up broken, embarrassed at 50. And I thought at the time, I was probably early 40s, I thought, that's never going to be me. But guess what? I did. It did. And I can look back and I can talk about all the stupid things I did and all the decisions I made that have got me to this point, but it's not going to do me any good, is it? That's the reality. And it's the reality, unfortunately, for many of us. So what do? Well, we can put our head in the sand and just keep hoping that things will get better, which they're not. And think maybe something's going to save us. The government, they're not. Or we can just start today to start taking control. I still firmly believe with the right plan and the discipline and the focus, we can get out of this. But it's not going to be easy. But waiting around another year, another 2 years is not going to help. So we just got to make the commitment, make that decision today. Start saving. Start getting rid of that debt. Start thinking.
It's a powerful video, that.
Yeah.
Really, really powerful.
You could hear it in his voice that, shit, I'm here. What do I do? He's feeling it. So I think that's where the majority of us are, especially US. The large majority of people are in that position, man. And it's not a nice spot to be in.
No.
So let's hear what Max has to say, brother. So I'm gonna hit you up with a few questions.
Right. Okay.
I've written out a few questions based on how a lot of my clients have asked questions, and I'm hoping you can give us some answers, right?
Let's hope.
So we're going to focus from this perspective: the biggest financial mistakes people make in their 40s and 50s.
Yep. Okay.
All right. They've already screwed up in their 20s and 30s. So now we've reached here. So what are the most common money mistakes people make at this stage of life? What do you think?
You touched upon it a little bit earlier where it's like, it's already too late for me. I'm just going to try and get that higher paid job. I'm not going to change anything I'm doing at the moment, even though for the last 20 years, you've been practicing the wrong thing. So the biggest mistake people make is just doing the same thing, thinking that the world's going to change and they're magically going to come into money. That is the biggest mistake that people make.
From now on, what is the next move? How does someone recover if they feel behind on their retirement, especially? Because usually at this point, we have now reached past middle age.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? We are in what I call the back stretch of life. This is it, right? We're here. We're there. If you look at the life expectancy of most men, I think it's 7 to 7 in the West. So usually once you reach around 34, 35.
Midlife crisis coming soon.
Exactly. So, it's more like 38, right? You reach that point, now you're on the back stretch, but you're also more tired. If you're coming with a lot of trauma or, from disappointments in life, you feel like it beats you down.
You're existing. That's
yes, exactly. So you're just going through life. So what do we do? What's the best move now? How can somebody recover and try to build wealth? I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I don't want to jump the gun, but I'm just trying to get it here.
Look, this is the first thing I do with clients, right, it's called goal setting, right? Okay. Sounds really, really simple, right? But it's goal setting and setting the plan, right? That's the first step you can make. When you go to gym, and you want to get fit, you don't just turn up to gym without a routine, not knowing what to do, Mondays, chest and tries, etc., right? You know what you're doing.
Yes.
When it comes to finances, you need to do the same thing. You need to understand what your goal is, right? And then you need to understand how to reach that goal, right? So if you're 40, thinking, what, $4,000 a month is what I'd like to have when I'm 65, right? You need to understand what it takes to actually get there. And then you need to understand, okay, what do I need to do on a daily basis, on a monthly basis to achieve that goal? If you don't know what your goals are and have a plan of action to achieve it, there's no way you'll be able to do it. You'll continue doing the same thing, just like you'll stop going to gym after a month, right? If you don't have a proper plan in place. So that for me is the most important thing. If you don't have a plan, fail to plan to fail.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to. And you know what I realize about life, whether it's losing some weight or whether it's making money, most people don't realize that the simplicity of it makes it feel like it's so easy that I can start it anytime. I can do it anytime, but they never do. It's one of the most frustrating things. When I say to someone, when someone asks, "Oh, how do you stay so slim? How do you lose weight? I can't seem to do it." And I say, cut your calories. understand
slow metabolism.
Yeah, exactly. They'll come up with every excuse. Yeah. Stop eating so much. Stop putting so much freaking food in your gob hole.
Yeah.
Record how much food you consume, and then so you can actually count some of the calories for the first month. Get in the rhythm of understanding what I've been doing isn't working. So if I just cut my food, the calories or the carbs or the sugar in half, I can make this. Yeah, okay, all right. And they go with it, but this sort of, I knew this, because everybody always say, I knew that. Okay, so why aren't you doing it?
They just don't want to commit, and also I think, and I had this conversation with another advisor, and it's like, people know what to do, people know how to budget, right? Yeah. I'd hope so. You can search it up and it's very, very easy. And there's even, ready Excels to do it. People know how to budget, and then people know, okay, from that, I need to make sure I'm putting away a certain amount each month. That's very, very basic, You learn that growing up just from potentially parents or stuff that you watch on TV.
Yeah.
People don't like to do that, especially if 20 years on, they still haven't done it, because they don't like to admit that the last 20 years of what they did was wrong, right? And that actually, again, maybe builds into that question you asked me at the beginning. That's also one of the first steps, is actually understanding what you've been doing is wrong and we need to change it. Once you understand that, okay, you know what? Hands up, Paul. I've been really bad. I've not done it properly, but I'm committed and kind of focused on doing that moving forward.
Right.
Then that's when we can actually start. And I think that's where sometimes it helps to have someone to go, you've done it wrong. I'm going to make you start. This is what's happening. And then we move on.
So would you say like you're the personal trainer of the financial industry?
I've actually been trying to trademark that. It's honestly, it's the same, right? Call it money coaching, call it personal finance training. All I really do is I design a plan for clients.
Yeah.
I show them how to do it.
Yeah.
I give them everything they need to do it. And then it's up to them to sign on the dotted line and actually, go through with it and execute it. 100% personal trainer.
So let's look at how we can address this from a wealth building strategy. Can we use that term? Yeah. So how should financial priorities shift after 40?
Good question.
Yeah.
So the way in which I always try to pitch it to clients ultimately, right, is my job is not to be the fun police. I'm not trying to say you can't have any fun, you can't go on a holiday, you can't have your luxuries, right?
Right.
But you can do so as long as the plan is in place where you can get to your end result. So if you're in your 40s or later on in life, you need to prioritize later on in life when you don't want to be working, which is in your late 60s and your 70s, unless you're doing something quite fun. I think, Paul, you can probably do this for the next 40 years, right?
Yeah, right. Well, that's a whole other story, but keep going. The point is that what I see as fun is actually producing. Like, to me, there's no such thing as, is there such thing as retirement anymore?
No.
There's no such
thing. The way I call it, right, we call it passive income. So it's more like, you know what, if I want to maybe work a bit less, turn on the passive income and I can rely on that. Right.
And that's what I'm trying to encourage people to do. I sell digital content creator courses, right? Now that's my passive income, but I'm teaching other people how to do this so that they could make passive income, right? So I'm hoping that I can keep this going even in my 70s, 80s. Hence the name, Ask an Older Man.
Yeah.
It won't expire, right?
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, man. So the name was strategically done, because part of what I did, I had a plan. And this is my little tip for any of you that looking to do either a YouTube channel or anything that involves a business. Always set up your business with an exit strategy in mind. So when I did this channel, for example, I didn't just think of, Paul's channel. How can I sell Paul's channel? I would only have to focus on people who name Paul, right?
Yeah.
For example. So I made sure that I found a generic name, content that I'm producing, and the name still had synergy, but it was still generic enough for me to sell it if I ever want to get out of this particular YouTube channel. Because YouTube channels are for sale. So that's how I looked at doing this. So passive income is the way to go. There's no such thing as retirement.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And just going back to your question in terms of like wealth building and the approach to it, right? Is again, it's going back to having a plan, understanding what it takes to facilitate that. So when I'm speaking with clients, I'm going, right, we understand that at 60, at 65, you want to stop working.
Right.
Okay. Now, what does it take to do that? Okay. You need an income, first and foremost, but you also need to have money outside the income, like in your bank account, so that if you want to spend more on one particular, month, you want to go on holiday, etc., you can. So when we look at wealth building, we look at building two different pockets, an income stream and then also a rainy day fund.
Right.
Now, then you then go into, right, if I need to save $1 million to be able to give me my income, what do I need to do between now and then to generate that, to build that up? So then you have to look at your surplus. So you need to understand your income. You need to understand your expenses, right? So then what I'm going to do is like a 50-30-20 plan.
50-30-20 plan.
Yeah. So
Okay.
50% of your income goes on your fixed expenses. That's like, for example, your car, your rent, your phone, your DIWA, okay? And then 30%, I like 30% for investing. Some people say 30% luxuries, but we're later on in life.
Yes, exactly.
We need to save more.
We need to get our shit together
Exactly.
stage in life. Yeah.
So 30% needs to go on investing and saving. And then 20% can be used for the luxuries. But only if that 30% is going to give us the $1 million when we're 60. So that is where wealth building comes from. It's from understanding I need to save $1,500, as an example, per month over the next 20 years to get me to that goal.
Okay. So you're talking about, let's say we start in our 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So for the next 20 years, we're in our 60s. We need to accumulate, let's say, $1 million. So
Yes.
we're technically dividing that 1,500 over, like 15 years. And then hopefully in interest or investment income comes out of that you can reinvest. Compound interest.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. All right. I'm hoping that this is solid enough and you guys understand what this is all about. I'm sure Max will be able to help you out as well. Now, next question. What are the best investment strategies for wealth growth while maintaining security? Kind of touched on it there.
Yeah, I mean, you always need to have access to rainy day funds. So the way in which again, with clients, this is free advice, guys. Okay. The way in which I do it with clients is that we want to keep a static amount in your bank account. This also actually helps with budgeting as well, Paul, right? So what you want to do is you want to go, right, how much do I need in my bank for emergency that I'm comfortable with, but I don't need any more? So if we're, people in the UAE or, people in the UK, I'll use pounds, but let's say it's £20,000.
Right.
I don't ever see a need within an emergency in a 2-3 week basis where I need £20,000. So that for me is a very comfortable, very, very comfortable spot to be in where I can have that there and not worry about anything. So then what that allows me to do, it allows me then go, right, at the end of each month, if that 20,000 falls to 19,000, I'll fill back up to 20,000. And then any money over and above that 20,000, I'm going to stick away and invest.
Okay.
This makes sure you're not overstretching yourself when it comes to putting money away, okay? But it also means that you're going to be saving a lot more than what you thought you could,
right?
Just by that simple strategy.
Most people just don't want to make the sacrifice of. I find that a lot of people in our age group, they still feel like I want to have enough fun, suppose I die. That sort of attitude. And they will not sacrifice enough to put enough away.
Yeah, that is very, very true. And then this is an argument I have quite a lot of clients, right? And probably a lot of you listeners as well. Short-termism versus long-termism, right? If this year I want to go on 7 holidays, go skiing, have a lot of fun, right? And I want to do that for the next 5 years. But if that means, and we all know it means this, but we don't want to tell ourselves, and if that means that in 15 years' time, it means I can only go on 1 holiday when I'm retired and live on beans and toast, right? We're only thinking of now, so we're going to go on 7 holidays. Yeah. But if I said, look, I'm not the fun police, have 2 holidays, and then what I can do is I can show you a way that when you're 60, 65, no longer working, you can go on 7 holidays, right? Because you made a small sacrifice, but it's short-termism versus long-termism.
Yeah.
So you've just got to make people understand that. But also the sacrifice isn't that much. I'll give you a quick stat, right? So the average savings, and this applies both in the UK and in America, the average savings of a pensioner, someone at 65, is about £200,000 or $230,000. That's the average savings. That is not enough to retire on, first and foremost. But how easy is it to get to that level? Now, this is including their pensions that they get given from work. So basically, their savings are virtually nothing because it all comes from their workplace pensions.
Right.
So the stat is, right, if at 20 you take $60 or £60 a month, you invest that over the next 45 years, just every month, $60, that's all. By the time you're 65, you'll have $215,000.
Okay.
So for $60 a month, you can double.
$60 a month, you can, for 40 years.
40, 45 years.
40, 45 years. So that means they'll have to start at around age 20.
Yep.
You know, this is the advice I gave to my daughter. I just bought her an app, eToro, the eToro app. Yeah. I said to her, every month you're going to put 200 dirhams into that app.
Such good advice. Honestly,
and she's
that's so good.
And she's just hit 18. She just became I said, if you do this, Precious, if you do this and you do this for the next 40 years, you will never, ever have to worry about money ever again.
Honestly, and I'm saying this to all the watchers, that it right there.
Yeah.
That is great parenting because what Paul's done there is he's made sure that his daughter will have over 200 grand, right, by the time she wants to stop working, but also starting early with the right mentality of, okay, you know what, I can actually make my money grow.
Yeah.
You know, and then what she's going to do is she's going to put, oh, you know what, that 200 dirhams, 400 dirhams, what happens there? Because you start seeing it accumulate, you start seeing the interest, and then you actually get a lot more involved in it.
Yeah. I'm hoping.
I wish everyone was like that.
Well,
honestly.
I'm hoping she gets excited with it. That will just turn her on to make her go, well, I need to do more.
Yeah.
Of course, she don't have a job now. This 200 dirhams is coming out of her little jobs that she do, little odd jobs. But I'm trying to get her into that mentality of instead of thinking, oh, I need to she wants to go off to Greece now with her friends, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 of those, but after that, that's it. It's over. That life is finished because I've already been doing that with her, as a dependent, a child, right? But I think people just leave it till too late, and I don't want my daughters to be in that position. Even if she will get married. She's marriage-minded. She wants to get married young. But the point is that she will still have her own money. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to think.
As a woman who's in the middle of a divorce at 52, I have few regrets. I was in a marriage for 25 years, 27 in a relationship. And if you are in your 20s and you are in your 30s and you are just in the early stages of getting married, building your career, these are my thoughts to you. Maintain your own bank. Make sure you have credit cards in your own name. These don't include being a secondary card holder. Maintain your own credit score, have great credit, and be involved in decisions around investing and your finances because you just never know.
So next question, buddy. Let's talk a little bit about the psychology of money.
Okay.
Rewiring your financial mindset. How do money habits form in our 20s and 30s and affect our financial future? I think this is what before I even got here, what I'm doing with my daughter. Would you say that's kind of where?
Yeah, you're trying to enact a habit.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you never started saving in the first place or investing, it's going to be very hard to get into that habit.
Yeah.
So the earlier you start, obviously, the better, and the more you understand about it. It's never too late to start, but it's harder to start later on.
Yeah.
Unless you have that wake-up moment like, oh, my God, I actually need to sort my life out. So the psychology of money changes as you get more and more desperate. Don't let yourself get to the stage where you need to be desperate.
That's right, man. Desperation makes you do stupid things, make you take higher risks, and that's when it becomes dangerous for us. That's why I try to tell people all the time. Whether it comes to relationship or whether it comes into money, it's the same thing that applies. Never make decisions from a place of desperation, urgency. Well, when it becomes urgent and important,
yes,
that's when desperation kicks in.
100%.
So I always tell people, do not make decisions from a point of urgency and necessity. Urgency and necessity, those are the 2 words.
So that's also actually where I have a lot of value with my clients. It's when, because a lot of the cases it is urgent, right? And it is desperate.
Yeah.
But as what Paul alluded before, a bit like a personal trainer, a lot of my job is actually behavioral control, behavioral management. It's going, you don't need to take this risk because what we've done is enough. You don't need to put all your money into crypto because you don't actually need to do it because the risk is insane, right? The payoff is great, potentially, if you're lucky enough, if you're part of the 1%.
Yeah.
But we can do it in a very low risk manner where you're not having to take these extended risks. So yeah, we can use the desperation, but use it in the correct way where someone is there overlooking and trying to help you.
Right. All right. Next question. How do emotions impact financial decisions, and how can people avoid costly mistakes?
The most important, I think, point about that is that the most money that's lost is through emotion. You should never invest with emotion. That is the worst thing you can do. Right. Whether it's investment property, okay, I want a really nice villa that's overlooking the ocean with a backward-facing garden with certain roses in there, right? Stocks are emotionless, properties are emotionless, right? So even more so when times get bad. And this is the difference between someone who is learned in the role and people who are kind of going at it without the knowledge, is that when they see the stock markets fall, they panic and they sell because they don't want to lose more money than what they've done, not realizing that them panicking selling made them lose more money than they would have if they stayed in, right? So you don't listen to emotions. What you do is you just educate yourself or get someone to control this aspect of it. When the markets fell in 2020 with COVID, and when the markets fell in 2022, right, with the Russia-Ukraine war, markets fell 35%, which is a huge amount, right? Everyone started panicking. I was getting so many messages saying, Max, I need to sell. I'm like, no, you don't. You need to buy. Right?
Exactly. When everybody else is scared, you buy.
Exactly. You act in the opposite way of the people who don't really know the way it works. So the emotion comes into it because of the fact that we think we're going to lose loads of money. But once you actually understand the way it goes, you can take advantage of that. So, yes, emotion plays a large part. Do not listen to the emotion and do not get greedy as well. Look everything from a rational point of view, I think, is what you need to do.
Yeah. And the same thing with crypto. Everybody's telling me, I lost so much money with crypto. And I said, why did you lose money? Well, I sold when that last big crash was. And, crypto goes up and down. They got mad swings. I don't lose money if I don't sell. That's it. I'm not a trader. I'm an investor in crypto. So if I buy some coins, I'm just sitting on it for the next 10 years. I don't really care.
Short-termism versus long-term.
Yeah, exactly. So I learned this over time, of course. I mean, I don't think that I just, popped up and I was this great investor. And, it comes with experience, man. You just realize, you know what? I saw this thing go up and down 15, 20, 30%, 3 times over the last 2 years. And it always comes back up a little bit higher. Common sense tells me, don't sell it. Just buy more when it's down and just keep accumulating. What do you call it? Dollar cost average out. And then basically just keep buying when it's down.
100%.
That's how I invest.
The markets have never been down over a 5-year period when you compare it. And from 1926, the markets follow the same cycle. So we know what's going to happen. Yeah. Just continue buying and just have the long-term perspective. Yeah. If you're not looking to access this money in the next 15, 20 years, then you shouldn't really be investing in the first place.
Exactly.
If you're thinking, I'll invest for 2 weeks, get super rich and retire, definitely not for you.
No, gosh, no. I think people, we just have this mindset of, I see everybody else who've done this have gotten crazy rich. People only see the lottery winners. They don't see the millions of those who have suffered.
100%.
And this is what the problem is, you see. Social media just highlights all the multimillionaire Bitcoin multimillionaires.
Social media have ruined it. And again, another stat for you. Okay. A lot of people, they do like the daily trading, they do leverage trading. If you don't know what that means, it's basically you get a loan from the trading company to then take higher risk investments with a potential higher payoff, right? Now, these platforms where loads of people invest in and think they can make loads of money because of social media, it has a really, really, really big letters. Okay. When you sign up, 75% of people who invest lose money.
It's true.
And yet people think that they're going to be in the minority, the 25%, without knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's mind blowing, man. It's mind blowing. All right. So next question, financial freedom versus retirement. Now we've touched on this briefly, but what's the difference?
So financial freedom is having the ability at any point in time to go,
Remember whenever you're in doubt. Always ask an older man, he'll show you the right route. Oh, the wisdom of the elders is told. They seen it all, they've been through the highs and the lows. So let's talk money, let's talk money. With the older man, he got the keys to success, honey.